I set myself up for this. Never trust a Disney series. Dang. I know. Commentary on this show has all but dried up, and I would still like to throw my 2 cents in anyway. If you don't know, Disney Plus released a Percy Jackson TV show. My boyfriend was hyped, so I wanted in on the ride. He was also the one who showed me the movie, and I honestly didn't think the movie was as bad as people say. I know, it's an outsider's opinion since I haven't read the books, but I liked it. And believe me, the series is worse anyway. It's not even just the show itself. I feel so cheated and led on by this show. The first episode was enough to make me believe the show would be different, that maybe this would be so much better than most of what Disney has put out lately, and I held on to this almost till the end. But episode 1 is where the show peaks, and I am truly upset. To start, how do I rank these episodes? Well, it looks something like this. 1 was the best, 5 taking the second place spot, and 3 and 4 being equally middle of the road. 6 is 4th place. The second episode had the worst episode spot locked down tight until I watched episode 7. And I forgot there were 8, so 8 goes down below 7. There you go. Why is 1 so good, though? You could argue that episode 1 is the most important episode to get right. Your entire show depends on it. Episode 1 is more important than all the other episodes combined, because a lot of the time, if you can get someone to watch episode 2, it would make sense that they'd now be invested enough to watch the whole thing. And why would they watch episode 2 if they didn't like episode 1? With some of the best child acting I've ever seen, phenomenal storytelling, and more action than you get in the rest of the show, episode 1 is nothing but hype. I was hyped. Then episode 2 happened. The exposition episode. Annabeth is introduced, and anything interesting they could have done with her went out the window for insert girl boss here. Trust me, I'll go into Annabeth's character. I'm just waiting for the right moment. Okay, so episode 1 was a masterpiece, and episode 2 was hot garbage. You can't blame me for still holding on to hope at this point. Episode 3 and 4, like I said, were about as equally good as each other. Nowhere near as good as 1, but definitely better than the second. But the absolutely astonishing lack of action was not unnoticed. I liked episode 5, even though it made little sense. This is the point where things start happening just to happen. The reason why I liked episode 5 so much is because the kids here get to show off their absolute best acting. Grover is one of my favorites. Him playing off Aries in conversation and vice versa, while a bit dull of a concept and secondhand social anxiety triggering, it was an amazingly executed scene. And this was the episode that finally attached me to Annabeth because they finally let her run loose with actually showing emotion, and her actress did an amazing job. I was personally excited for episode 6 because I was wondering how they were going to do the lotus flower concept. My question was answered. They did it like garbage. Grover got the short end of the stick, again, and Annabeth gets to be perfect because why not? There's little tension, everything is super anticlimactic. It's like they didn't even want to tell the main story beats in this Percy Jackson show. Episode 7 was seriously awful and forgettable, and the finale was the most anticlimactic thing you'll ever see in your life. Poseidon just gives up the war and Luke monologues his plan for a few moments and then hops through a portal. And Annabeth has to be there with her invisibility hat because we can't have the conflict of Percy being the one to tell her that her brother figure stole the bolt. You were probably hoping for more detail, and I intend to deliver. First of all, this show's CGI doesn't really look half bad. Aside from the hilariously crummy green screen backgrounds, I assume the actors and the CGI is where all the budget went, as opposed to the writers and the fight choreographers. The costume designers, if there were any, definitely did not see a majority of the budget money. This is Poseidon, ruler of the sea, and he's wearing a fishing polo and a pair of khakis. Zeus, while his actor definitely did his best with the role, is in a suit. Like an actual suit and tie that you'd wear to a wedding. We don't even get to see Athena. These guys aren't laying low around Earth either. This was practically in Zeus's living room. Okay, now the smaller scale stuff is out of the way, let's get into some of the big stuff. The atrocious lack of action for a show like this was noticed, and brought up multiple times between my boyfriend and I. There are 3 real fight scenes that I can remember. In the beginning, when a monster follows Percy, his mother, and Grover to Camp Half-Blood, the duel between Percy and Ares, which I don't think was choreographed very well, and the joke of a fight that was the Medusa encounter. If there are more, then I apologize. Those are the ones that I can remember. I don't know, does fighting Cerberus count? Or were they running most of the time? I don't remember. It's just very strange how the movie managed to pack in so much action when it's dealing with about a sixth of the runtime this show had to work with. For how much Disney seemed to spare no expense with their actors and look don't touch CGI, it's really weird how it seems they wouldn't be willing to spend a little extra to teach the kids some basic fight choreography, or do some cool CGI thing to make up for it. Though Disney and money are two things that, when in the same sentence, have not been positive for them as of late. It looked as if they wanted to include more cool concepts from the book, and there are a lot of concepts in here that I don't remember from the movie. But that's all they are. Concepts. Something gets thrown in as a plot device, never explained before or after as to how their journey made it to that point. They had 8 episodes, all in the range of 30 to 50 minutes apiece. How do they not have time to build up concepts? The clearest example of this I can remember is when my boyfriend and I settled in to watch episode 7. The episode opens with Percy walking into a mattress store, giving exposition about how the beds take you to the underworld, finesses the owner, who apparently was one of the baddies, and then goes to the underworld. I felt such whiplash and absolute confusion, and I was left wondering, why is this here? And why does it matter? It would have been no different if he had just gotten one of those portal guns from Portal and just walked into the underworld. It would have made just as much sense. The whole show, things happen just to happen. The golden chair is another prime example. Percy chooses to sit in the golden Midas-style chair to get a MacGuffin they need. There would have been nothing in this scene to really make you care. You know he'll get out 5 minutes later. If it wasn't for Annabeth absolutely stepping up to the plate and carrying the emotional weight of the scene on her shoulders, I would have felt absolutely nothing but mild annoyance that they'd attempt to play with my emotions like that. Speaking of Annabeth, she's just as spectacular as Percy and Grover when the show lets her show any kind of emotion. But for a significant chunk of the show, she's just this stoic, basic girl boss, and that's why it took me a while to really grow attached to her. Percy, fantastic acting, no complaints. Grover and Percy's mother were my favorites. I just wish we had gotten to see more of Percy's mom because she was spectacular the whole time. And poor Grover! I could not figure out why on earth he was being treated so badly. In more situations than you think, he's completely sidelined to do something pretty much useless so Percy and Annabeth could do all the things that actually matter to the plot. But hey, that's Disney for you. Never, ever trust Disney. I'm not saying you won't be pleasantly surprised once in a while, because I have been. Rarely recently, but not with this show. Most of the time, you will only be bitterly disappointed.
I am a light sleeper, but I am a heavy dreamer. My imagination gives me wings, and I can go anywhere. When I wander away to some other place, I'm suddenly there, way up in the air, where passenger trains catch fire and fill the sky with flames. And that black rabbit of death waits up in a breath of beautiful dreams. My heart, it could seem so terribly vain, where fire and diamonds fall like rain. Do you believe in endless miracles? Do you believe in the impossible? Do you believe sleep is a time machine? Do you believe in curiosity? Do you believe in what you cannot see? Do you believe life is a lucid dream? Oh, that's how you study the stars. That's how you study the stars. And that's how you know 'em by heart. Life is a lucid dream. Such is the path of a dreamer, and I find my way by moonlight. some other place. I'm suddenly there, way up in the air, where passenger trains catch fire and fill the sky with flames. And that black rabbit of death wakes up in a breath of beautiful dreams. My heartache seems so terribly vain, where fire and diamonds fall like rain. Do you believe in endless miracles? Do you believe in the impossible? Do you believe sleep is a time machine? Do you believe in curiosity? Do you believe in what you cannot see? Do you believe life is a lucid dream? Well, that's how you study the stars. That's how you study the stars. And that's how you know them by heart. Life is a lucid dream.